I'm going to ask for this moment of silence as I read this. 111, 160, 204, 12, 42, 39, 30, 45, and 26. And that's just some. And what are those numbers for? Number of schools closed around the country. Hundreds. And in those schools are people. And in those schools are children. And in those schools are part of a community. Shuttered, closed. We would dare to say, set up for failure, sabotaged, and abandoned. And I would dare to say that predominantly all of them, Black, Latino students living in poverty. Systemic. It's not an accident. It's not a maybe. Hundreds. And those schools represent communities. So when you create these school deserts, just like we have food deserts, what do you expect to get out of that? Who's accountable for that? Some of these schools were doing really well years ago. Like they talk about in New York City, we have so many schools that say, we were the pride and joy of our district. We were able to offer so many things. I hear that over and over again. What happened? No one asked that question. They just assume that it's the community. It's because of those children. They don't care. Those parents don't care about what's happening in schools. So we must do it for them. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. Parents and communities in these cities that have experienced these closures and other things in their community have been fighting back for decades. For decades. But no one's listening. That's the problem. No one's listening. So what is new accountability? What should it look like? First of all, we must be honest and talk about race and class in this country. Because until we keep kind of hiding that pink elephant under the room, we will continue to see the same things. What does accountability look like? It looks like having me at a table and other parents around this country and students and educators who are impacted by these policies who people say they're going to work. They haven't worked, right? Accountability looks like having legislators like we had with the Representative Grijalva from, is that his name? Grijalva? From Arizona and others, right? That vote and represent the people and use that vote to ensure that education specifically is at the forefront. Public education, that we're willing to stand up and say that we're ready to fight for that. In the community that I represent, what people are asking for in accountability systems is really to, I think, to have their voices heard and be at the table. Actually, not at the table. We want to be there before the table is made. And what we're seeing is that when our voice is not heard, that we have policies that are literally sometimes killing our children in regards to violence and school closures, and or that just are not, don't serve our children well at all, especially in communities of color. Some other things that I would like to address in regards to accountability system is that in communities of color, I think we would challenge to say if there has ever been real accountability in our communities.